Welcome to Soul Reset, the sanctuary for your soul's revival. This podcast is dedicated to exploring the depths of the human experience and the nurturing of your soul. Each week, we'll dive into thought-provoking conversations with experts, storytellers, and everyday people who offer unique perspectives on topics ranging from personal growth and spirituality to resilience and transformation. I'm your host, Tameeka, and I'm excited to embark on this soul journey with you. Let's go. Hello and welcome. It's time for your soul revival. Today's episode is sponsored by Client Care Concierge. Specializing in high-quality promotional items, Client Care Concierge helps you make a lasting impression with branded gifts and customized merchandise for your business or events. Visit clientcareconcierge.com/promos to explore their wide range of products. Again, that's clientcareconcierge.com/promos. Now let's get ready for your soul to recover, be restored, and made whole. This is your Soul Reset. We welcome you once, we welcome you twice, we welcome you 3 times to get your life. In today's episode, I have the honor of welcoming Dr. Vikki Johnson. Dr. Vikki Johnson is the founder of Soul Wealth, speaker, author, chaplain, media executive, wellness advocate, and sacred sisterhood advocate. As Chief Executive Officer of Soul Wealth LLC, her purpose is to help women rise above their current circumstances to boldly and confidently live an amazing life. As the author of 12 books, Vikki provides profound insight on spiritual, mental, emotional, and relational well-being. She believes that in every moment, we live at choice, and any moment can be the moment your life changes for the better. I want you to get ready for your life to change again with the mentor's mentor, Dr. Vikki Johnson.
Hello, sister. Tameeka, let me be official. Hello, Tameeka. Tameeka is also my sister, and I would not be any other place. Today.
You are the sister of my heart. So we read your bio, but we also like to have a little more information about you. So In our Say More segment, we ask each guest 5 questions to find out more about you. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I love these.
Let's go.
All right.
If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, it would be?
Pineapples.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the Florida in you. If your soul had a theme song, what would it be?
Groove with You by the Isley Brothers.
Come on.
Groove with You. Yeah, because that's all about ease, flow, pleasure, fun, peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the things.
Yeah.
My favorite place is
the beach. Pineapples on the beach with Groove with You playing in the background. Come on now, let me set the picture.
And that's funny because you're actually partly answering the next question. So you are crafting a day dedicated to nurturing your soul. This is 3 parts. What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you go? And who are you with? They can be living or dead.
I am on the beach, listening to like the bomb playlist to include Groove with You because I love the Isley Brothers. I'm a funk baby. I was born in the 1900s. Now that we're in 2024, I was born in the 1900s, but I'm a 70s funk baby through and through. And I would probably be by myself, having just alone time. I am an introvert by nature, true introvert with extrovert tendencies. I would probably be by myself and have, every now and then people coming by. But when I'm alone, I'm really communing with people who have inspired me, who I love, who have passed on. Mainly my grandmother. My grandmother, my maternal grandmother, is probably the strongest voice and influence in my life, who's no longer living. And yeah, I'm a loner. So people who truly know me know that they never see me with the same person all the time. You know what I'm saying? And that speaks to the fact that I have many relationships with a diverse group of people. And at any given moment, I can be with any one of them. And that's a long list, right? It depends on the day. It depends on what's happening, because no day in my life is the same. Very purpose driven, very intentional. So I would be by myself, sitting at the beach, jamming, which is what I do every time I'm in Florida and I get to, go home and spend time with my family in South Florida. My mom knows. She was like, I know where you're going. Yep. Stairs are in the garage, and an umbrella. So that would be my day.
I love that. I love that. The last question is, the motto or mantra I live by is?
Peace is possible. It used to be in every moment we live at choice, and it still is. But in honor of the late, great, one of my favorite thought leaders and influencers, Bishop Carlton Pearson, it would be that peace is possible. That's something I heard him say. And the first time he said it, I snatched that thing out the air and put it right there on my chest and live by that. Peace is possible. I would have to say immediately after that is my spiritual father, Archbishop Ralph Dennis, who is the first person I heard say the amplified version of something I quote all the time now. Been doing so since 1997, and that's Job 22. Agree with God quickly. So that you can have peace and good will come to you. I'm all about ease, flow, fun, laughter, and love.
I love it. I love it. And as a sister in your life, I can attest to all of that. That is how you live your life. So I'm going to jump in because you have so much value to add to us today. But before we get into the conversation, there was no question about who my inaugural guest would be. You are the absolute first guest on my podcast.
I'm honored, Tameeka, and I'm proud of you. I got to say, okay, go ahead. I'm going to be a guest today.
Be a guest. Okay. It is because you are the person that gave me the roadmap to my soul. And so everyone knows I was raised in church. My parents are pastors. And so 2013, Girl Talk Unplugged, you hosted that event. And what happened for me at the event changed the rest of my life.
Wow.
It changed my life, and it will change my children's life. And it is because up until that point, I had viewed the spirit and soul synonymously, which a lot of church people do, right? Everything is about the soul, but they're not thinking of it in terms of mind, will, emotions, creativity, imagination, all the things. So up until that point, that is the way I viewed it. And I don't know if you remembered, but I struggled in my mind so bad to get there. I don't know if you remember the day before. The day before, I was like, "Yeah, I'm not coming."
I remember. Coming. And then when you did decide to come, you were staying down the street. I was like, "No, you're not. You're gonna stay on the property. Like that's the whole point. That's the experience."
Yes, and
that part I remember.
The whole experience was a mind shift for me because I had never spent that much money on myself in one setting. I
got to say, relatively speaking, that wasn't a lot of money.
It wasn't a lot of money because I had just paid thousands of dollars for my kids the week before. So, and that is what got me there because I was like, Tameeka, you just dished out a couple $1,000s for your children the week before. And now you're going through all these mind things about doing something for yourself when you actually deserve it. Like being away by myself, being away from my kids, and just solely doing something for myself was jarring for me. It really, really was. And so when I got there, anytime I go to a conference, I stay to myself, by myself, because that is just how I take in things. I think the first night, Reverend Miriam Niles spoke, And from that day until this one, I am constantly asking myself, what does it require for your soul to be free? Because that is what she asked that night.
And she spoke barefoot. I just saw her. She was on the stage barefoot.
She spoke barefoot and she told us to take off our shoes.
Yeah.
And to be grounded. And I had never even taken the time and space for myself like that. And so that particular event led me on a whole soul journey to find out who exactly I am. What do I think? Right? What do I think? Not churchanese, not what I've been brought up to think, but what does Tameeka think at this point? What does this evolution in your life look like? And from that point until now, I don't even think I ever told you this. I went back to my room that night and I ordered the most expensive steak on the menu. And that has become my ritual every time I go to a hotel.
Nice.
Anytime I take a weekend by myself, I go to a hotel and order the most expensive steak because it was about me understanding my worth, right? My value, but also that was something that fed my soul to do something for me. Like, you are worth a steak to me. Like, it's not that serious. You're worth it. And you hosting that event literally led me on the journey to my soul, which has now gotten me to this point of doing this podcast. And so the first thing I need to say is thank you.
You're welcome. That blessed me. Thank you for saying that.
Vikki says a lot without saying a lot. And so without saying, girl, get your life together, she like basically, without saying, girl, get yourself together, she basically said, girl, get yourself together in the most loving.
Yeah, I was going to say with love.
Always with love, ease and flow. You don't even like you she's easing you into it and you don't even realize it. So I just need to say thank you for that and being the planter. You planted that seed for me.
You're welcome. Thank you. That really blessed me.
From that point, it affected the way that I raise my children, especially my girls, to be more in tune with their souls. And so that literally changed my life. It changed my children's life. And I know it will change their children's life. And so I don't know if you've ever thought of it in that way, but you're changing generations. And I so appreciate you for it.
Thank you. I have not thought of it that way. I'm truly just, as my spiritual father, Archbishop Ralph Dennis, planted the seed in me over 25 years ago. You know, it's not about what I do. It's about who I be. And in my being, the doing happens organically, which is where the tenets of soul wealth comes from. Vision, compassion, authenticity is number 3. Abundance and legacy. Who are you? Why are you here? Who are you called to be? And when you answer that question, like, why am I here? Who am I called to be? What you do is an automatic outgrowth of who you be. And that's the question. That's the query. That's why I encourage women, especially because that's my dominant audience. Stay curious. Ask questions. Do I believe that? Where did that come from? Who told me that? Is that something that I truly want to live by? And that takes courage to challenge paradigms and belief systems, which for most, I'll say women in church, because I also know that I'm called to be a bridge for women of faith, women who grew up steeped deeply in religious systems and dogma, right? I am called to be a bridge to more of God, whatever that looks like, to the point that I am now unapologetically saying out loud that I am a mystic. A mystic is simply believing in something you cannot see. So by virtue of literal definition, every person who says they are a believer in Jesus Christ is a mystic because they've never seen Jesus. They've never seen God. Yes, we've seen expressions in one another, but literally having seen God or Jesus, we have not. So by virtue of who you profess to be, you are a mystic. So being that bridge to more, being that bridge to greater understanding, which often this is where courage comes in. It requires dismantling old belief systems and practices that we have been taught because those don't belong to us. In true fashion, Pentecostalism, Christianity, charismatic, any denomination that we see in Christendom today is a replication of the Catholic Church, right? The Catholic Church. So who told us that this was the only way to experience God, to experience and practice my faith, which is really your words? Faith is your words, the substance of things hoped for. So your life follows your words, which is why I say in every moment we live at choice. Who told you that? And this is the most important question. Is it working for you? Right? Because what I have experienced, this is not what I think. It's what I have experienced in conversations, by observation, and by experience of my own life. We are so committed to living experiences that do not work for us to prove that we are in alignment with limiting beliefs that restrict us, that keep us from doing what Jesus came to do. I would that you prosper and be in health, even as your souls prosper. The thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But Jesus said, hello, I have come, I am come, that you have life, right? Sufficient in quantity and life more abundantly, superior in quality. That's what that means. But if you just do your own research, do your own research and observe, there are a lot of people who claim, who profess Christendom. They're sick, they're broke, they can't make a decision. They follow the crowd instead of the narrow way, which is what Jesus said. They live lives of conformity. Conformity is not what Jesus came to do. Jesus was a nonconformist. So by virtue of the groupthink in the body of Christ today, most of us are living the opposite of what Jesus came to do. But most people aren't ready for that conversation. We want to scream, cry, follow the crowd. And that's how I know that I am in alignment with the assignment of God on my life, because I'm not following, I'm not a crowd follower. That's why I said at the very beginning, nobody can say they see me with the same person all the time. No one, because I'm by myself most of the time. And like Jesus, based on whatever I'm doing at that moment or called to be in that moment, that will determine who's around me. But for the most part, me and Jesus are like this. I'm by myself. I step away from the crowd and I go and I'm alone. That's why I started hiking during the pandemic, because being out in nature, I could hear God so clearly. And don't let me find a waterfall. Honey, I'm gonna sit right there for some hours and just hang out and hear God. So yeah, our relationship with God, our faith, our practices of faith absolutely need to be decolonized, because but we're not ready for that conversation. So I'm gonna be quiet and be the guest.
Listen, when you were talking, there's one more thing that I hold on to from that event, and it is hold suspect your beliefs and hold sacred your doubts. And I've held on to that because I've always been the curious one, right? I'm always asking questions like, this doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Well, if we're this, why do we have that? All the things. And church didn't always have an answer for me. They didn't always have an answer for me. And my questions would make people feel uncomfortable. But I think that's something that you said was so important, in that we keep asking questions, and that we stay curious to what we believe. And so even with that said, what was your journey to soul wealth? Maybe you want to define soul wealth first and then go into
soul wealth. It's inspired by 3 John, where God said, I desire that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. It came to me as a download just like that when I was preparing for a TED Talk in 2014 on the power of sacred sisterhood. Because if you remember, in 2013, that event was Girl Talk Unplugged, the ultimate getaway, because for like 12, 13 years prior to that weekend, my brand was Girl Talk. And then it became Girl Talk Unplugged. And then it evolved to Soul Wealth, right? So it was an evolution. Vision, compassion, authenticity, abundance, and legacy are the 5 tenets of Soul Wealth. First in your life, because you can't give away what you don't have.
Right.
And then once you are full to overflowing of those things, now you can pour out into the world from your overflow, not your capacity, because your capacity is for you. Overflow is where you live, give, serve, and love other people from what's flowing out of you. In me, he's a well. Coming out of me, he's a river of living water. So wherever I go, what's coming out of me should be providing life to others. And that's what Soul Wealth is all about. Like, really, I'm a mirror for women, a lot of men, mostly women, to just check yourself. Not in an arrogant way, but am I living a life that I really love, right? Am I really being nourished every day? Am I making a difference? Am I being God in the earth? Am I being Christ wherever I go? Am I making a difference? Am I having impact? What's my why today? Who do I get to be in this moment? And again, modeling after Jesus, his beingness was predicated on the circumstance. Everywhere he went, he was just Jesus. Right? But in him is the 5-fold ascension gifts, all of them: apostle, prophet, pastor, teacher, and evangelist. He was not all of those things all the time, although that was in him. Right? So I am a mother. I was a wife. I'm a grandmother now, a daughter, a sister, an aunt, a business owner, a visionary. I'm all of those things. They're in me. But I have to have an understanding of who I be and the gift of discernment to know what is needed in the moment to decide what's needed in this moment. Who do I get to be in this moment? So I don't go to work trying to mother my coworkers.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And when I'm with women who I'm mentoring, right, I'm being a mentor, not a mother, not a daughter, not a sister. When I'm hanging with my friends, I'm not, Vikki the mentor. I'm Vikki, your sister and your friend. And so that's what Jesus did. He discerned the need, and that's what he manifested. And when the need was met, you know who he was again? Just Jesus. Remember? Just Jesus. He wasn't prophet Jesus, apostle Jesus. He wasn't doctor Jesus. He wasn't evangelist or pastor Jesus. He was just Jesus. And that is my motto. That is my motto. I model that. So when people are like, Dr. Vikki, Dr. Johnson, I appreciate the recognition of that accomplishment. I'm Vikki, right? Not just Vikki, not just as in that's all I am. I want to connect. I want you to relate. I want you to sit with me, hear me, talk to me. Let's have a conversation and resonate with me, right? I don't ever want you to feel like I'm up here and you're down here.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever. And one of the things I keep talking about Archbishop Dennis because he was pivotal in my life changing. And I remember that he said to me once, he said, God can trust you with what he loves because you have experienced and endured what he hates. So, and that's true because my filter in every encounter is how would I feel if I was in that position? What would I want somebody to say to me? This is truly how my ministry started.
Yeah.
Because the woman I show up to be with every opportunity given to me, and it's a privilege, I count it an honor, is the woman I did not have in my life. When I was in a lot of positions earlier on, I didn't have a Vikki. It was me and God. It was me and God.
Yeah.
And other people were making me feel less than. I didn't qualify to be in your circle. I wasn't good enough, or I have to wait. Who are you? You're not good enough. And that goes for some denominations too. Like, don't get me started. You can't join in. You got to be born in. Like, that's cute. But unfortunately, the people singing that, a lot of them believe that.
Yeah.
Like, who are you? You're not one of us.
Yeah.
That's not who Jesus was.
Yeah.
So my friend Veronica Very, my sister friend, she calls it the Church of the Free. No. Vanessa Elam Burns she is free, right? Breaking free from limiting beliefs and paradigms and systems and institutions that would cause us to miss God's dream for us.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah. You keep talking about limiting beliefs. And my thought on that is a lot of the limiting beliefs aren't even ours. We're living our life based on somebody else's limiting beliefs.
That's why I said, who told you that?
Yeah.
I started asking those questions. Who told you that?
Yeah.
You know?
What was your process of breaking free?
Asking questions. Asking questions and doing what I call sitting in the lotus flower. And I found a lotus pond not too far from where I live in a nature preserve. And so when I go, it's just all these beautiful lotus flowers sitting on these lily pads. But the water is murky and muddy. And I would not stick my foot in there at all. Right? I just observe the flowers. Well, life is like sitting in that murky water being beautiful on top, though. But you got to come up out of the mud to experience the blossoming into something so beautiful. So breaking free for me was about sitting in the lotus, sitting in the mud, sitting in my pain, assessing it. That's why I say in every moment we live at choice. So when I started assessing, well, why did that happen? How did that happen? How did I get there? How did I get here? What was I thinking? What led me to that? See, I'm asking questions.
Yeah.
And why did that lead me there? How did that make me feel? Why was I even there? Why did I need that? Right? I'm asking questions. That's how I got to my freedom. Because after I answered those questions, the question became, well, who told me that? Where did I get that from? But is that working for them? Why would they want me to do that? And it's not even working for them. And how did you not see that it wasn't working for them before you adopted that as a practice that you took on that didn't work for you either? And, why do you care what they think? They're not God. Are they helping you? Are they paying your bills? Have they offered you support? Do they stand with you when everybody else walked away? When you got betrayed, did they call to check on you? Or was it out of sight, out of mind? Hear me? I'm asking questions. Every question opened up another step. It was one step at a time, one day at a time, sometimes one moment at a time, one choice at a time is how I got free. And then when I got free and looked back, I was like, I don't even know how I got caught up in that. I must have been sleepwalking. And a lot of people are sleepwalking through that. And when you're asleep, think about it in the natural. When somebody disrupts your sleep, if you're in a good, deep sleep and somebody abruptly wakes you up out of that sleep, not only are you shocked, but you irritated.
Yeah.
Like, why would you wake me up like that? And it's like that when you interrupt people who are awake, but sleepwalking through life. When you interrupt that sleep, they're going to challenge you because it's comfortable being asleep. It's comfortable being asleep. But when you get jarred or jolted out of sleep unexpectedly, you irritated, you mad, you want to fight, all the stuff that people do when you challenge their limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
If you notice, you don't get into an argument with somebody who's living their best life. They don't argue.
That's right.
Think about it. They don't argue. Can I give an example of that really quickly? I'm a preacher who's also a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. There is a trend, that's what I'm calling it, a trend right now of denouncing membership in D9 organizations. And this is probably the only time I'm going to publicly speak on it. And I've been invited into conversations about it, but I have nothing to say about it. It's a distraction. Because somebody else's choice to denounce, which is their choice, to denounce. I'm like, denounce and bounce. You don't have to announce it. You don't have to write a whole 12 paragraph soliloquy on social media.
Yeah.
You don't want to be a part of the organ, just like when you leave a church. If you leaving, you don't post your resignation letter to the church or the pastor on social media. Just leave. Just leave. Let's go. Just be. So I can be that detached from it because number one, I'm not attached to anything.
Right.
Not attached to anything. And it doesn't affect me.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what I believe and I can defend it.
Mm-hmm.
Most people who I've seen in that space can't truly defend the choice. They can't truly defend it.
Yep.
That's enough for me. I don't have to, I choose not to use my heartbeats in that conversation. Baby, if that's what you feel, you run on and see what the end gonna be. But I'm gonna wear my letters. I'm the chaplain of my chapter. And I unapologetically love Jesus and I love Delta, right? And then I've heard them talk about rituals. Well, we take a ritual once a month in church.
Communion. Mm-hmm.
So that's about it. That's all I'll say about that, right? You have to know what you believe and why. Can you defend it? And is it causing you to truly live your best life? Or are you making decisions that are intended to impress other people so they can say you're living your best life? And the truth is, it doesn't matter if other people think you're living your best life. What matters is if you know that you are living your best life. I'm living my best life. I am living my best life. And I share with the world what I want them to know. I don't share it all. I don't share it all. I know people whose names I will never say and spend quality time with them. Right? I share what I want people to know. That's soul wealth.
Yeah.
That's like a reset for your soul, right? Truly living a life where you know peace is possible. And that as you continue to agree with God quickly, you'll have peace and good will consistently come to you. Psalm 41:11, by this I know the Lord favors me because he does not allow my enemies to triumph over me.
Mm-hmm.
That's soul wealth.
That is so well.
Like living my best life on the beach, listening to the Isley Brothers groove with you, having a nice cold bottle of essential water. I love that water. Essential water, some vinegar and salt potato chips. Yeah, on the beach with some books, getting in and out of the water, getting that free vitamin D, walking in the sand. Like that's God right there.
It also all sounds like alignment to me because that is something that you would do, you know, if you were just spending a day, but also even the career path that you've chosen is aligned with your soul. And so how do we get to that point? Because it's just like a lot of people are now just accepting things to accept things and then wonder why they're not happy, right? I'm going to take this job because it paid the most money. Well, that's not really aligned with who you are. So now you're upset going to work every day, or now you hate going to work every day because you're in it for the dollar, but it's not aligned with your soul. How do we get all those things to align? Your business, your soul, your spirit, all of that aligns. Your career, your relationships, all of those align with who you are.
Yeah, asking questions. It's not a mystery. I'm telling you, I keep repeating this answer, asking and answering my own questions. What feels good to me?
Yeah.
What nourishes me? What would I do? What would I get up and do every day, even if I wasn't making money? But it was fulfilling for me. Because in that path of fulfillment, I'm going to intersect with opportunities that are monetized. Right?
Yep.
As I'm doing what I love, provision comes. The lepers were healed as they went. Why sit here and die? Like, why sit here and die? Let me go. Let me start moving. And as I'm moving, I come into understanding, revelation, illumination, ascension is as I'm moving.
Mm-hmm.
Most people, not most, a lot of people are stuck. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I'll say it because they're waiting on permission.
That's so good.
Baby.
That's so good.
And most of the some waiting on permission will never move because permission will never come from outside of you.
Mm-hmm.
It's intrinsic. It's in you already. Christ in you, the hope of glory. Back to who told you that?
Right.
Because if you know whom you believe, he therefore whom the Son sets free is free indeed. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth that you apply is what makes you free.
Mm-hmm.
So many people are believing the hype, quoting scripture that they don't believe. Like, did you hear what you just said?
Yep.
Did you hear what you just said?
That's actually what your event taught me. All the scripture I quote that I did not believe, that I did not apply. All of that.
My road to freedom came from asking questions, answering them honestly, sitting with the answers.
Mm-hmm.
Is this what I truly believe? And the stuff that I no longer believe, I don't abide by that. And I don't have to post that.
Yeah.
Right? My life is a demonstration of what I believe.
Yeah. And you're not fighting anybody about what you believe. You don't even have to discuss what you believe, any of those things.
Don't debate. Like I said, people who are living their best life, living abundantly, do not argue.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. And the older I get and I experience people that I love leaving this life abruptly, unexpectedly, suddenly, like it brings closer to my heart and top of mind that time really is precious.
Yeah.
I get to choose how I use my time. And some stuff is not worth my time. I mean that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna argue with you. Okay. If you think you can, you're right. If you think you can't, you're right.
Yep.
And I don't give advice. People ask me questions. I'm like, what do you think? Because the truth is, the answer is in you. You just have to have the courage to explore, consider, contemplate, and then come to a conclusion that works for you. I'm a critical thinker. So
yeah,
my mom made me play Scrabble when I was like 7, 8 years old. Our brain is a muscle.
Yeah.
And if you don't use it, you will lose it too.
Yeah.
Read some books. Turn off the television.
Mm-hmm.
Pull away from the chaos, the news, the drama. Disengage and then connect or reconnect with what lights you up.
Yeah. I see a lot of people that are spiritually depleted. And I believe it's because of the imbalance of not bringing their soul into alignment with the rest of them. So a lot of this podcast is because as I've grown older and I just watch certain things, I realize that a lot of people they're strong in their spirits, but they're broken in their souls. And so that creates this imbalance. We have people, that can do all the things, that have all these gifts, all these talents, but they're going home depressed at night, right? They're going home and we wonder, the Whitney Houstons and Robin Williams of the world, like, oh, they had all this talent. And they're using drugs or alcohol just to cope with their life. And so I want to know from you, for those who are depleted in that way, how do we get to a place of ease and flow, but also soul prosperity?
Stop what you're doing that's not working. Stop what you're doing. Like you have to interrupt the pattern.
Yeah.
Right. There was a show on A&E years ago called Intervention. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have to stage your own intervention.
Ooh.
Like, I'm not doing that anymore. It's not working for me. It's wearing me out. It's making me anxious. It's causing me to be depressed. I don't like how I feel. And it's simple, yet not always easy.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing something that's not working, do the opposite.
What stops us from doing the opposite?
Familiarity, discomfort, inconvenience. If I do that, it's going to upset a lot of people. How am I going to explain my choices? That's the point. You don't have to.
I think a lot of it is fear of abandonment, rejection.
But it can't be no worse than you abandoning and rejecting yourself.
Oh, come on.
That's the worst. That's the worst level of fear and abandonment.
It is.
And betrayal. You doing all of that so everybody else will be okay, honey. I've been there, done that. Got the postage stamp. Making all these decisions so everybody else will be okay. And I'm still suffering and struggling. Mm-mm. You get to choose. That's it. Not another time. I'm not doing that again. It hasn't cost you enough yet.
Yeah.
It hasn't cost you enough yet. And the danger, I heard Pastor James Sturdivant back in the 1900s preach this sermon at 625 Park Road when I was at Greater Mount Calvary Holy Church, when it was really small. Mm-hmm. And Pastor Sturdivant preached, there is a danger in keeping what God said destroy. I still have the cassette tape. There's a danger in keeping what God said destroy. And the danger is if you stay too long, you playing Russian roulette with your life because you might not get out. You might not get out. We take time for granted. We do. We think we have time. And the truth is we don't know. So every day, why not start now? Soul Reset family, why not start right now? Like right now, literally right now, write down the date, write down the time, and saying from this moment forward, I am only doing the things that light up my soul. I'm only doing the things that I love, and I'm dismantling any and all beliefs, systems, and thought processes that do not work for me. And I'm only going to live God's dream for me, which is my ultimate and highest good from this moment forward. For me, that was maybe 13 years ago almost when I gave my cousin a kidney as a living kidney donor. And when I woke up, I was like, whoa, every day from this day forward is a bonus. Because they literally stopped my breathing to remove my kidney, to take out an organ and give it to my cousin, which I willingly did and would do again. When God allowed me to wake up and still be here, I was like, man, every day is a bonus and I'm going to live like it. I'm going to live like it. I've traveled around the world. I've had some great friendships, sisterships, romantic experiences. I have been loved well and I love well. I have great friendships. I have lifetime friendships. Baby, when at the end of my podcast, I say live full so you can die empty. I mean, every day I'm going to exploit the breath that God has given me so that when I go to bed at night, I'm exhausted in the best way because I squeezed every ounce of life out of the day. So wherever I am fully present. If I can't be fully present, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
So you can make the same kind of commitment to yourself starting this moment. Starting in this moment. That's how you get free and stay free and live your best life and have a life of soul wealth. And when you feel yourself falling back into familiar patterns, interrupt it. Stop. Hey, we're not doing that anymore. Reset. Soul reset.
Yeah.
And keep living.
That's so good. And I think we underestimate the power of our choice.
Listen,
do something different.
I'm gonna make that a meme today. I'm gonna give you credit. I'm gonna hashtag soul reset. Okay. Don't underestimate the power of choice.
Yeah. Even in me asking these questions and your answers seem simple, yet they were profound. And they were easy. But we just do not choose, number one, to ask ourselves the questions. We do not choose to make different decisions. We do not choose to interrupt our lives in any way. We choose comfort. We choose what's familiar.
Because we sleeping.
Yeah. And we keep having the same results and wondering why.
We're sleepwalking. For example, now this is important. This is an election year.
Yeah.
I don't get into red, blue, Democrat, Republican. I have my own preferences, like beliefs, etc. And I don't talk about it. It's something I choose not to post about or get involved in the conversations. However, we can in this dispensation of time with digital media, social media, technology, etc., being what it is, it's easy to get caught up and taken away and enamored by stuff that really doesn't matter. Okay? Whether that's the Drake, Kendrick Lamar beef, what's happening with Diddy and Cassie. And I'm not saying what happened to her is not important. Domestic violence is important.
Absolutely.
And it being exposed is important. Now, but going down a rabbit hole of it is what I'm talking about. Meanwhile, over here on Capitol Hill, they are passing laws, having congressional hearings, debating about HR this and that, which means it's going to be laws in your state. State laws are being passed that affect you, and locally. In your local community, this is why it's so important to vote, and not just in presidential elections, and not just vote, but be aware and engaged about the conversations that are happening locally, statewide, and then nationally. Right? You have to be intentional about being aware of what's going on. And I'm not talking about an awareness that comes from watching the news. I'm talking about being civic minded about what's going on in your environment. We have an environmental responsibility as well, civically, community, spiritually, familiarly with our family, right? Like it's so many elements to who we are that make up this experience that we call life.
Yeah.
And too many people are complacent, not content, complacent just to live at the mercy of whatever happens. And that's not wealth. That's not abundance. As a matter of fact, it's a poverty mindset. Let me just say it. It's a poverty mindset. And God is not pleased with that because he gives us power to get wealth.
Yeah.
So if you're not experiencing wealth and abundance, ease and flow, that's not God's fault.
Yeah.
It's about personal responsibility for your own experience.
Yeah. And it's not just financial wealth. It's soul wealth and wealth in every area of your life.
Yep. Abundance of joy. I call it intangible prosperity. Joy, peace, love, gentleness, meekness, kindness, compassion, courage.
That is so, so good. I've said this before, but you just shed some light on it. I just feel like we compartmentalize who we are. We glorify the spiritual side, but like you said, something like the civic side, that's not as important because it can't be seen. Maybe we glorify the stuff that we think can be seen. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I don't know why we do that, but it's important to actually embrace all of who God made you to be. That's what I hear you saying.
Every part is important.
Yeah. And to know, just like you said, just like Jesus did, when to bring what part to the table.
Yeah. And let me say, I need to say this. It's also important to know what your core values are. I think a lot of times in a lot of situations, most people don't know what their core values are. So if you don't know what your core values are, then your life experience is going to be willy-nilly all over the place because you have no baseline to measure what you're experiencing by. Like one of my core values is order. If something is in disorder, it's going to repel me. right? Another one of my core values is legacy. So everything I do is aligned with legacy. How will this be remembered? How will I be remembered? Not only what I'm leaving, but I want to live my legacy. Like I'm not building all of this just to leave it for other people to enjoy it. I am going to enjoy it as well. Another one of my core values is integrity. Another one of my core values is fun. If it's not fun, I'm not going to do it for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm just not, because I need to be stimulated. You know, and another core value of mine is relationships. Very important. Family comes under that. Friendship comes under that. You know, those are my top core values. And if I'm living in alignment with all of those, I'm good. So every choice that I make is considered in light of my core values. And so I just want to invite the Soul Reset family. You can go on Google and Google a list of core values. It's like hundreds of them. And then I challenge you to pick your top 50. Then out of your top 50, pick your top 20. Then narrow it down to your top 10, then your top 5, and then get your top 3. Then you live in a life of so well. And when you need to reset, you know that's not in alignment with my core values. So let me reset. I got to say, peace is also at the top. Integrity, peace, and order. So I just wanted to say that. That's a takeaway assignment for you. Know what your core values are.
She's giving us homework.
That's important because people often ask me, I remember one of my nieces asked me, what does it mean when people say you got to do the work? I hear that all the time. Do the work. She was like, what is the work? And I thought that was a brilliant question.
It is.
What does that mean? What is the work? And I just, I said, where are you and where do you want to be? Everything, what it's going to take for you to get there is the work. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, relationally, financially, that's the work. Where are you and where do you want to be? Now, what's important about that is if you don't have a vision for where you want to be, here again, you just living all willy-nilly, going whatever happens, living at the mercy of whatever goes on in the world. Because without a vision, you perish. Where there is no vision, the people perish. Conversely, the vision, if you have one, is for an appointed time. At the end, it will speak and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it will surely come. When it comes, then you get another vision. That's how you move forward. That's how you grow. That's how you ascend. That's how you expand. That's how you create a legacy, because now you're on a journey that is not static or stagnant. It's moving. Your core values, get a vision. Where are you now? Where do you want to be? And then in the middle, that's your work.
She's such a sage, you guys. It is from your well. It is from a deep well of experience. And I appreciate that so much. When you just talked about your niece, it just made me think of the young women that are coming up behind us and what soul wealth looks like for them in this age of social media and outside influences. A lot of big mamas not around no more. Some of us are growing up together with our parents, right? And so what is the advice that you would give to the younger people coming behind us? Because I think that because of what is being shown, we are lacking a lot of authenticity in the generation behind us. That's ultimately going to affect their children.
Yeah, my answer is what I shared earlier. They also need to know their core values, because the choices that they make moving forward should be in alignment with their core values, and understanding that we live life in seasons. So as you age, as you get older, as you're blessed to get older, your core values will change. Because what's important to you in your 20s is different in your 30s, is different in your 40s, is different in your 50s, is different in your 60s, and it changes again in your 70s. So core values is the baseline. It is the baseline, because that's who you are. Your core values help you understand who you are, which allows you to live authentically. Now your vision is in alignment with your core values. You have compassion for yourself in alignment with your core values. Your abundance is directly tied to your alignment with your core values. Now you can leave a legacy based on your core values. You don't have to guess. And nobody else can tell you, you should do this. You have to do that. You can say like, yeah, no, I don't. That's not even who I am. And then people might say, well, you don't even know who you are. Yes, I do. These are my core values. Boom, 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 boom.
Yep.
Point blank, period. Seriously, that's how you condense time and move forward. You don't waste time on stuff that doesn't align with who you are.
Yeah. I have one last question because I've watched you do this so masterfully. How did you learn to give yourself grace as you grow?
Tired of suffering to impress other people. I'm serious. That's the answer. When you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, that's how people used to say it.
Yeah.
I got tired of suffering. So other people would be okay. That's why I was like, I'm not doing that anymore. That's not who I am. That's not what I need. And I asked this question. Y'all can write this down. One of my mentors gave it to me. Who do I need to be in this moment? Who do I get to be in this moment so that I will be okay? Now, sometimes the answer is you get to be petty right now. Go off. And then I fall back. I can be really petty. With all of this wisdom, your girl can be petty. And it makes me feel good. And then I fall back. I get quiet. But the question really, truly is, who do you get to be in this moment so that you can be okay? What do you need in this moment? To be okay? Is it a nap? Which is a serious tool. You need to go take a nap. You know, when the babies was little and they was all agitated and throwing tantrums, you'd be like, go take a nap. You need a nap. You sleepy. Go take a nap. And sometimes we sleepy. We're sleepy. Go take a nap. And when you wake up, you'll feel refreshed and you can resume. Sometimes it's like, let me shut down. Just not talk. I'm not going to talk on the phone. Or it's let me find a safe space to talk. Who can I call? With skin on.
Yeah.
But, you know, some people are like, you don't need nobody. You just need to talk to God. Well, sometimes it is better for you to talk to somebody with skin on. Whether that's a therapist, a counselor, a pastor, a friend who's trusted, a trusted secret keeper. Yeah. I have all those people in my life.
That's so
Everybody
good.
I just named. So sometimes I need to just run something by them. Can you just listen to me for a minute? I just want to check in with myself and I just need a sounding board. I have those and then I am that for some people. So that's how I give myself grace. Like I got tired of suffering. Like, what do I need? What do I get? What do I need? Who do I get to be in this moment so that I can be okay and then I can move on? And sometimes, you know what it is, Tameeka? Meek. I want some chocolate cake. I want a brownie. Let me go get me a slice of cake. And then I feel better.
Yep.
I'm serious.
Yeah, me too.
It's not like, and my point in that is that it's not so mysterious that it's inaccessible to us.
Yeah.
It really is about knowing who you are and being in touch. That's the word. Being in touch with that version of you, that person that is you. Because I also lived outside of myself for years. I lived numb, like I was just numb to everything. I wouldn't allow myself to feel anything. So now that I'm living in my body and cognizant of time and moments and people and experiences and emotion, that's a question for me. What do I need in this moment? Sometimes I'm riding in my car, I just turn off I don't want to hear nothing. Just let the windows down and let the wind kiss me. That's gonna make me feel good in this moment. Okay. So back to what I said in the beginning, as we come to the end, in every moment we live at choice.
Yeah.
And it's not a one and done. You hit the mark. You good now. Just sail on. in every moment of every day. We get to choose, meaning we make tens of thousands of choices a day.
Yeah.
Sometimes people get decision fatigue. I ain't choosing nothing else. Whatever happens, happens. That's dangerous too.
Yeah.
So before you get there, take care of yourself. Take a break. Go on vacation. Come off social media. Turn off the phone. Reset.
Yeah.
So you can be wealthy. That was good.
So good.
Reset your soul so you can have soul wealth.
Yes. Oh my God, Vikki, thank you so much. She's so incredible, guys. She's so incredible.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for all that you are, all that you've been for me, to me. You have talked me right out of some complete meltdowns in my life over the years. So as much value as you've shared that I've brought to you, you have done the same and more for me. So all the stuff that you don't want me to say, I'm not gonna say it. Just thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for always taking my calls, for always responding to me. Like just thank you. And shout out to your mama, my mama Stacy, you know, who just I love it when she calls me, hey daughter. I love that. So it's just simple things like that
Absolutely.
that mean the most to me. Absolutely. And that make my soul wealthy. So this is awesome. Congratulations. And I'm looking forward to and excited to share Soul Reset.
Thank you. And for those that don't know you, let them know where they can find you.
Sure. My website is Vikki, Vikki, VikkiJohnson.com. I am on most social media at all things Vikki. I have a podcast, daily podcast, The Soul Wealth Radio Show, which is at the top of my website. If you go to VikkiJohnson.com, right at the top, you can hear my catalog of shows, almost 500 episodes that I have. And just super excited to continue flooding the earth with soul wealth. Thank you, sister.
I love it. And so as we close today, we ask each guest for parting words. That can be anything that you want to say. It can be along the lines of what you were talking about. It can be something completely to the left. Whatever you want to say as we part today.
Yeah, you get to choose. That's it.
I knew that was it.
I also like to keep it simple.
Yes.
You get to choose. 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 Nobody, no one has the right. No one has the right to take away the power of choice. Even God gives us the ability to choose.
Yeah.
So that's the most God thing you can do for yourself. Is remember that you get to choose. You get to choose.
And as simple as that sounds, that is life-changing. Life-changing. You get to choose. So thank you all for listening today. Thank you, Vikki, for joining us. And until next time, may your heart find peace, your spirit find strength, and your soul find its sanctuary. Thank you for joining us. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to leave a review, subscribe to the podcast, and share it with a friend. Your support helps us reach more people on their soul journey. Remember, business prosperity, life prosperity, any prosperity hinges on the prosperity of your soul. If you're looking to unlock your true potential, align with your purpose, and find clarity in your path, consider soul coaching. Visit Tameeka.online for your complimentary soul discovery call or to learn more about how soul coaching can support your journey. That's Tameeka, TAMEEKA.online. Until next time, this has been your Soul Reset.